We are gathered at a pivotal moment for the global workforce. What we are seeing, the transformation of the world's labor markets and ever more rapid demand for the jobs and skills of tomorrow.
The opening remarks of Saudi Arabia's Minister of Human Resources and Social Development at the inaugural Global Labour Market Conference in the kingdom's capital, Riyadh, which attracted more than 6,000 participants, including CEOs, academics and G20 labour ministers.
Focusing minds here on the ground in Saudi, the megatrends, the policies and the innovations restructuring labour markets right around the world. Also being discussed how best to build sustainable workforces for sustainable economies.
AI was an overarching theme too, in particular how employees and employers could get ahead when it comes to next generation ICT. Despite its many labour market milestones of recent years, not least increasing the number of Saudis employed in the private sector from 1.7 to 2.3 million, Saudi Arabia's ministry was candid about the work that lay ahead.
As you know, the theme of this conference is more toward the AI and the artificial intelligence. And the latest statistics says that it's more than 133 million jobs will be created from now until 2030. We need to improve the skills of the labor to be ready for these jobs.
Talk to me about the vulnerable in society and how we address inequalities in the labour market.
Yeah, this is very important. In Saudi Arabia, luckily, we have grown from 17% women participation to 35%, which is ahead of our target in 2030. Also, we have the youth participation. We have plans to increase the youth participation, especially the new graduates, to have a new leap into the market.
Whilst young populations challenge some nations' labour markets, other European countries face the opposite problem.
Minister, if we look at your demographic and ageing population in Greece, how does that play into your future labour market strategies?
This is a very big problem for Greece, as for the whole European Union. Maybe AI will help us on that, to be honest, because some of the jobs that now will need human force, in the future will not need human force anymore.
Famously and historically, Greece has had one of the highest unemployment rates in the world. As we head into 2024, how are you positioned?
For the first time in 14 years, we are below 10%, 9.6%. We will need 2 or 3 years to reach the European average unemployment rate.
Climate change and natural resource degradation are additional megatrends altering how we produce, consume, trade and work. In the wake of COP28, GLMC analysed the pain points of brokering a just transition whilst balancing global labour markets.
World Bank estimates about 140 million migration already, 1.2 billion going to 2050. And that creates a set of population that requires gainful employment. But unfortunately, a lot of that is in the low-income, low-skill sector. Now, at the same time, there's a large talent demand, millions of jobs that are needed for climate mitigation and climate adaptation actions. But most of these jobs, instead, are at a higher skill level.
To ensure nobody is left behind in the delivery of a just, inclusive and equitable transition for energy and the international labour market, some are calling for more gender-focused frameworks and investments.
Women, for example, make up a large proportion of the agricultural sector. In the global south, up to 70% are most likely working in farms, low-level, low-skilled, labor-intensive jobs. So when climate change strikes and you have flooding, jobs are lost, lands are lost, she has to work harder, sometimes pull her children out of school to join her. Now, these children will contribute to future unskilled labor markets. And then that brings you that vicious cycle.
As GLMC drew to its two-day close in Saudi, for some it was almost the end of their working week.
We call it the 100-80-100 rule. 100% pay, 80% time, provided you get 100% productivity. And who would have thought that healthier, happier, more engaged employees would be more productive?
And the productive discussions will continue in the year ahead until GLMC delegates and decision makers reconvene for the event's second edition in Saudi next year.